Peace and prosperity, family. This is your brother Oso Safua Ben Kemet, and I am an eternal servant of God in the spiritual, intellectual, and emotional rebirth of the human family on the planet Earth. And I am extremely happy and joyful to be a part of the so-called Negroes of America because we are the aboriginal and indigenous people of the planet Earth and the source of all cosmic, quantum, and physical reality, which is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss. And also remember, peace and prosperity is our new and universal greetings. I got some little notes I didn't took down. I just want to touch bases with the people that this new knowledge of self, this new information is here for our salvation, and etc. And before I progress, an idea just came to my head about revolution. A lot of people talk about the revolution. And I was in a conversation yesterday about, is a revolution real or is it fake? And my answer was, the revolution only benefit people who participate in the revolution. So I let that sit on your conscience and let it marinate. Now I want to talk about Let's Help, which is one of my companies. HELP is an acronym for Healing Every Lost Person. It's a 4-page newsletter, and also it's growing and progressing to become a university of self-therapy. And we have 4 cardinal principles. And our cardinal principle number 1 is basically the essence, the foundation of everything. And cardinal principle number 1 is that a high self-esteem is the basis for all excellence. A high self-esteem is the basis for all excellence. Cardinal principle number 2 is the all-attractive personality of God exists in all humanity. Cardinal principle number 3 is we are responsible for our personal performance and our community condition. Cardinal principle number 4 is we are universal messengers with a universal message and application. This is a universal language. It's not designed to no particular creed, class, and color. We're here to break up all boundaries and limitations. We're here to supercharge our consciousness and destroy all of our self-destructive ideals and habits. And we do that by doing the will of the Creator through the example of the Son to give life and light to all creation, which is freedom, justice, and equality. And we stay on our shit by constantly improving ourselves, because self-improvement is the basis for community, social, and governmental development and power. That's Let's Help in a nutshell. On a newspaper, right now I'm the editor-in-chief, but I allow people from different cities and different countries, where it's available for people from different cities and different countries to write an article, to promote, to uplift, to empower people with words. Because words are powerful. Words are the masters of creation. We always speaking things to existence, whether we do it verbally or telepathic. We speaking things to existence. And I just wanted to touch bases with people to let people know Let's Help, Healing Every Lost Person is out here. And we everything I'm doing is grassroots. Everything is coming off my imagination. Everything is coming out of my imagination, my storehouse of knowledge. I'm using I get no resources for anything besides deep meditation and affirmation and books. And I got a powerful book right now in front of me. It's called The Message to the Black Man in North America. This is one of my favorite books. And I would like to read something out of the book right quick. Bear with me to anybody. And this one like my favorite paragraphs of the book. It's so deep. I was just studying it like probably 30 minutes ago. I always read this book. I keep this book with me like Christians keep Bibles and Muslims keep Holy Quran. This is my spiritual, this is my moral constitution. This is my moral constitution. This keep me in divine light and life. And it says, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, it is a perfect shame and disgrace to see men of the black nation professing themselves to be spiritual guides of God and his people, endorsing and backing a rule of enemies who have spoiled and exploited them to the extent that they are not recognized even among their own kind outside of America. These ignorant black people will oppose anyone who preaches freedom, justice, and equality in some of this earth that we can call our own. I just wanted to read that because it's perfect. And I got a lot of notes. Like I said, I got a lot of notes. And I finna recite a lot of things that I be taking notes of. Like this, like what I be thinking about. Just how I see the future. You know, we are the engineers and pioneers of the future world. So we gotta constantly keep, you know, projecting and circulating this frequency out here for it could become, you know, a quantum entanglement. And this, I say, big field awaits the wide awakened mind. It's nothing but open space and opportunity in the field of doing for self, or Kuji Shakalia, self-determination, or what we have grown to call now entrepreneurship, creating your own way in the game of life. This is God's way of thinking, which is our original way of thinking. Entrepreneurship, self-determination, doing for self is how God thinks. God created everything through his imagination. He had a premeditated plan, and when his plan became, when everything came into being, he called everything planets, because he planned it. Remember, he planned it, then he brought his plan to fruition, so he called it a planet, because everything is feasible. I also wrote this piece too, though. I said, to be proven wrong is a learning experience that should be celebrated because someone has elevated your consciousness. I'm going to say that one more time. And these are all of my thoughts. To be proven wrong is a learning experience that should be celebrated because someone has elevated your consciousness. Someone has took you higher. Someone has made you ascend and advance and move forward. We should not get mad. You know, a lot of us get wrapped up in our emotions, you know, but we need the emotional maturity and intellect so we can be happy with someone who have corrected our faults, or someone who had taken us higher into the field of learning. And basically, I talk about in my Let's Sell newspaper, or when I do my lives, or just when I'm in conversation with the public, with people, with my people, with anybody. I talk about just positive self-image psychology. And positive self-image psychology is seeing oneself in one's own mind, being, doing, having all the good that one desires. And we do that, you know, through, you know, self-awareness. Because self-awareness, I wrote, we are never going to be able to experience anything better than or other than our own self-definition. I'm changing the page right now. There's some good affirmations that some good affirmation that we would all love to have is health, happiness, love, success, and prosperity. Always ask the God in you for that. And this is basically what Let's Help is all about. I got it wrote down right here. I do it with a marker. I say Let's Help newsletter is an educational vehicle to help spread a universal message with a universal application to enhance our self-awareness and critical thinking skills, to become more political, economic, and savvy and develop a holistic, healthy, abundance lifestyle. Let's help know that we need to control our media, which is our image, our self-love, and our self-expression. The corruption in today's media is destroying the black family unit because it only promotes rehearsed indecency and filthy human behavior patterns throughout all American media platforms. Let's Help is solution-oriented, which involves a paradigm shift through mass media production of promoting and advertising and enlightening our people about greater experiences we can entertain and perform. We can help empower ourselves by supporting one another and circulating our resources in a pragmatic sense. For spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and financial rebirth. See, and we do that by we got to think about how God thinks. We got to really elevate our consciousness. We need to expand the human concept of thinking of what language is, because language is God's chosen way to communicate to the people. Because language is not just verbal expression. You know, people can communicate, with their hands. Like you got some people got gang signs, they can communicate with their hands. You can communicate through signs and symbols for the conscious mind. You could be praying and meditating for a answer, and next thing you know, you see a sign, on the wall that say, keep going forward. And that was confirmation for you to God answer you. So we need to expand the human concept of language, because God is always communicating to us. More we open our mind and more we see clearly, we'll see that God has always been here and always was there. When we get back to our original way of thinking, not adopting the foreign concept of what we think God is, which is limited, and that God is really not powerful at all to change our conditions and circumstances, because our people been going through shit for like 450 years, and He haven't heard our prayers, He haven't intervened in our prayers, and our people are constantly suffering from cruel and unusual punishment and complete brutality. But spirituality and universal laws in nature have always been there for us, and have always been aiding and assisting us to flourish into success and become self-sufficient. So family, I just want to touch bases with you on that. I will be back. I will continue to keep coming back. Y'all have a great and successful day. Peace and prosperity. And January 1st is not the new year.